there is one thing that can prevent a publisher from signing your music or allow them to actually sign the music, and then you ultimately get placements with that music. And it's something that is so it's so subtle but so huge. And if you're not aware of it as a producer when you're making your music, you won't even think about it. But once you become aware of it, you start to notice it all over the place. You'll watch TV and you'll start to hear it over and over and over again. You'll start to go back to some of the old shows that you grew up on and notice this one small simple thing. And it's been effective for decades. I can go back as far as the throwback show Knight Rider to give you an example of what I'm talking about. So, story time. I had a cue sheet come in for a placement. I think it originally aired maybe like the end of last year, but it's for a CBS original show. It's called After Midnight, right? So I'm going through the cue sheet because I'm always curious to see like what track was used, how many tracks were used, because I've seen some situations where there would just be multiple tracks used in one episode, which is always great. But I was curious, so I'm scrolling through the cue sheet and find out they use a track that I produced several years ago, which seems to happen a lot, especially in this space, which is the good thing. That's what we want. Like, we want to sit down, create music that will continue to get placed and used and pay us like for years, right? So this is a track I did several years ago. And the interesting thing I noticed was that they didn't use the main version. They didn't use the main track. They used one of the alternate versions that we had to create for this particular publisher. And it was literally the smallest alt version that they requested. Literally, it was like a 5 to 10 second version. And that version is called a sting, which is also the name of this thing that I'm telling you about, the ending, how you end your tracks. We call it a sting ending. So we named this version Sting. So in the cue sheet, it was listed as title of the track, Sting. So it's crazy because I noticed several stings throughout the show or whatever, where it was just like several 5 to 10 second pieces of music used. If you don't know what a sting is, it's basically like 5 to 10 seconds of an ending. It's just like dun, and it's like, it's very, very simple. Easy to do if you know how to properly do it. And if you don't know how to properly do it, click the link in the description. Join Sync Producer Hub. I break that down in the how to structure instrumentals for TV course in the classroom part of it. But a sting ending is essential to like everything. Like that could be the difference between you submitting music to a publisher and then them immediately knowing, okay, they've never produced music for TV before, or they don't know what editors are looking for when they're submitting music. So, do we take the time to teach them, or do we just kind of pass because, it could be, it could be a learning curve. We don't know. So that could increase the chances of them saying no to your music and just passing on it because it doesn't have that small but crucial element. So what that shows me is just like, listen, if you're going to make music for TV and you're going to pitch that music to publishers, make sure you have a sting ending. No fade outs. They don't like fade outs. But make sure there's just a solid, definite ending, and then you're letting your sounds just kind of naturally ring out at the end of your tracks to increase the chances of placements. Because in this situation, that was literally the only part that they used. They didn't use any other any other section of the song. It was literally the sting. So that's how powerful that can be, to where like that could be the one thing that gets used and gets placed and get you paid. And then also having it on there shows that you know what you're doing. Even if you're just starting out, even if this is your first time submitting to a publisher, just having that sting on there, because it's something that's done intentionally. Like, it's not something you'll hear on like all of your favorite radio hits and you know, on your favorite artists and things like that. You don't hear it all the time. So when they hear that, they know, okay, this person is intentional and they're creating specifically for media, because this is something that's used a lot. You hear it on commercials, you hear it on TV shows, you hear it on movies, all types of different mediums. So it's important. You got to have that sting ending on there. Make sure you start putting it on your tracks, and then don't submit anything that doesn't have it. Make it a requirement. Every time you create some music that you plan on pitching for sync, make sure you got that sting ending on there, so you can increase your chances of getting that music signed and increase your chances of it getting placed. And a lot of publishers, they're going to depending on who you work with, they're going to require you to have different deliverables and things like that. And some of them will have you create like a sting, a bumper. I think is what, like 15-30 seconds. They're going to, you know, require a 30-second cut down, which is just like a 30-second version. You may have to do a 60-second version, especially if you're dealing with a track that's just longer than 60. So I just thought that was interesting that you know, it was just the sting that got placed. That's what landed me the placement. And if I had not had that sting, I probably wouldn't have got that placement on this CBS show. So it just goes to show you how important it is. So if you're, you know, getting started and you're still kind of unfamiliar about sync and how to approach it and how to get started, I'll give you my free guide, a Sync Producer Quick Start Guide. Download that. The link will be in the description as well. And, you know, learn the steps. It's not hard. It's very simple. But if you don't know what to do and you don't do it the right way, you're going to make a lot of mistakes along the way. And you're going to get frustrated. It's going to take you longer to see progress versus, you know, producers who are following proven systems. Like, don't try and reinvent the wheel, bro. Like, you don't have to... you don't have to be like super unique and like, oh, like let me carve out a completely different path. Like, no, use the road that's already paved and get to your destination faster. And that's what that guide will help you do. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. I thought it was a cool insight. I might have to pull up the track. Maybe I'll do another video and, you know, pull up the track and see, like, play the version that they actually placed. And see if I can find it. So if that's something you want to see, comment breakdown in the comments, and, you know, maybe I'll do another video just kind of finding that track and seeing how they used it. So all right, that's it. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Peace.